Thank you for checking in with the Avowed Gamer. What an interesting event we witnessed, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul on November 15th, 2024. It was a fight that left many of us in mixed emotions, from anticipation and hope to shock, and for some, disappointment. Today, I'm diving into my take on what transpired in that ring, blending in insights and perspectives from various sources, and most importantly, my own thoughts. The idea of a 58-year-old Mike Tyson stepping back into the ring would have been unthinkable years ago. Yet, here we were, glued to our screens. Nostalgia was the driving force for many of us who grew up watching Tyson obliterate opponents with terrifying speed and power. We weren't necessarily drawn by the flashy promotions or Jake Paul's internet antics. We were captivated by the thought of seeing the great Iron Mike back in action. But as the fight unfolded, the reality hit hard. Chris Mannix put it bluntly in his article: anyone who expected Tyson to come out victorious was deluding themselves, and I can't disagree entirely. Tyson had been battling health issues, including a harrowing near-death experience earlier this year. The stats painted a bleak picture. Tyson landed only 18 punches out of 97, compared to Jake Paul's 78 out of 278. Paul, a YouTuber turned boxer, showed enough skill and composure to stay out of danger, knowing the odds were on his side. But this wasn't the Tyson we idolized, the knockout machine who sent shivers down his opponent's spines. This was a man past his prime, trying to prove he could still hang. And in some ways, he did, even if the result was a loss. Yet, what struck me most during those 8 rounds was Tyson's spirit. Watching him go the distance, despite fatigue and age showing in every step, reminded me of a timeless struggle, man versus time. Tyson wasn't just fighting Jake Paul, he was grappling with Father Time itself. Miriam Onyango's harsh critique aside, labeling the match as a terrible parody, I saw something more profound. Yes, Tyson's exhaustion was painfully evident, but underneath it all, there was a spark of determination, an unrelenting will that refused to quit. Was it sad? Sure. There were moments when I too cringed. Watching Tyson struggle and seeing him wobble was tough. But unlike many who dismissed the fight as a joke, I couldn't. I found it oddly inspiring. Tyson wasn't doing this out of ego alone. He fought to prove something to himself. Maybe even to us. As Rohit Lohan shared, Tyson revealed in a post-fight confession that he almost died in June. Losing half his blood, undergoing 8 transfusions, most would never set foot in a ring again after that. Tyson did, and he earned the respect of many for simply having the courage to try. In the fight, Jake Paul showed a level of restraint that sparked its own conversations. Was he holding back? Maybe out of respect, or perhaps to avoid the wrath of critics who would be quick to pounce on him for knocking out a much older man. Tony Bellew even speculated about the dangers of pitting old legends against young, hungry fighters. There's truth to that. It was an unequal matchup in terms of age and physical ability, but Tyson wasn't entirely helpless. He was just a man carrying the weight of time on his back, and against a 27-year-old, that weight became too much. Some called it a cash grab, a spectacle, but Tyson himself summed it up best. This was about securing a $20 million payday, risking it all for his kids. For me, that added an entirely different layer to the fight. It wasn't just about nostalgia or legacy. It was about a man doing what he knew best for those he loved. That's something worth respecting. So, what's next for Tyson? Hopefully, rest and enjoyment of life. As for Jake Paul, he's chasing bigger names. Whether or not that leads to a match with Canelo Alvarez is up for debate. But the reality is this: Paul bested a legend, albeit a 58-year-old one. It doesn't rewrite history, but it does add a chapter many of us will continue to reflect on. My personal opinion about the fight is, I believe, like most people who grew up watching Mike Tyson fight during his prime, I was really excited in anticipation to see the old legend going back at it again. I was not aroused by the hype from the promotion of the fight, but rather from the nostalgia of seeing one of my favorite boxers back at it again. I surely would have bet my money on him winning even now with knowing the result of the fight, because hey, it's still Mike Tyson. Besides, he fought just a few years ago against another great Roy Jones Jr., and he looked well-to-do during that exhibition match. But he was 54 years old at that time. Looking 4 years later, he's 58. In retrospect, that makes a vast difference. But nevertheless, I still thought that some amateur boxer who hasn't had real serious fights couldn't hang with the great Mike Tyson. So to me, it was a no-brainer. Not forgetting to mention the infamous slap Tyson gave Jake during the weigh-in. That truly intrigued us all. At that moment, we all suspected that the old Tyson was surely taking this one and that we were all in for a fight. Real quick, do me a favor and share your opinion in the comments. Who did you think would win before the match took place? Did it turn out the way you expected? Go ahead and let me know. Now, when the match actually took place, you could only see Tyson as a shell of his former self, and we weren't going to get what we had all expected to happen. Many people called it a waste of time. Some said it was a joke, others said it was stupid and boring. A small few even believe it was fixed, where Tyson wasn't allowed to knock him out or even win. I really don't know, but I'd like to think it was all sincere. I have a different point of view as well. I think it was interesting to see all 8 rounds. It put the perspective of mortality into place. I saw an old legend trying to fight against aging and father time, really testing himself and his talent. I could see the inner struggle of an old legend trying to conquer the brutal reality of aging pain, thinking in his mind, I know I have it in me mentally to do what I'm trying to do, but my body just won't let me. I kind of admire his effort because he really took to heart living life to the fullest. I also don't think Mike was in the best of health to go through with the fight, and that was made very apparent throughout the bout. That's my opinion. If you stuck around for the full video, please hit the like, and thank you for checking in with the Avowed Gamer. Peace.